Welcome to Cannabis Legalization News. I'm Tom Howard, and this week, hemp lost its battle to get more time by glomming onto the possible government shutdown that seems to be averted. And we got state news from Virginia, Montana, Missouri, and much more. Plus, a Name That Strain by Relief Botanicals. Big shout out to the members. We'll be answering your questions live on Cannabis Legalization News starting right now.
I like it.
What's up? Yep, I do. The funny thing was that cut that was there, the teleprompter completely fucked up on me when I was doing that. But, shout out to another week in cannabis news. What's our thumbnail about? Our thumbnail is all about the budget. And there's a lot of the industry that was hemp. And a lot of that was this very strange advice that I was not the one who was giving. And so, the rumor was they'd be able to put a fix for the hemp ban. And by fix, I don't mean like selling, high quality full spectrum CBD oil. I mean, continuing to sell THC units.
Right.
And no, they yanked that. But then that could also be bad for the CBD in the Medicare. And so the full spectrum CBD in Medicare, as that change to the bill is been yanked. And so they are not going to put the wording back in to do they were talking about postponing it for 2 years or so. Yeah, that didn't fly. Yeah. And then here's the deal, they figured out how to fund the government now.
Well, and this is that thing where all the hempsters were excited about. They were all like, "Oh, this we told you so" type bullshit. Where it's like, no, you didn't tell us anything because we knew. Right. There's still. Again, people are clamoring for THC regulation. Where Chris 420 Blaze comes to my feet all the time, dude, and I'm just like, man, sure. I wish I could address this guy because his big argument right now is how THC and Delta 9 are the same. I mean, you know what? We never said it's not, but you don't have real legalization. People don't have rights. People, you still lose your job. The product is still get stopped in interstate processing. There's a gamut of things that shit just is not legal. They've only made it legal for you to sell and hustle some bullshit.
No, and it's entrapment. And so it was a lack of enforcement. And now they're going to start enforcing it eventually. But then that was another thing that happened. Pam Bondi totally blew a deadline. Yeah, I've talked about them blowing deadlines before. But the thing that they aren't going to blow a deadline on is the banking. And so it's still a Schedule I bank. It's not like we're just down the block with a bank with a loan. No, our dispensary had to be all cash.
Yeah.
All of it, and then you have to find a place that you can build out. You have to get it zoned. It's not just selling ZA on the internet because it's hemp, bro.
100%. No, that's the whole thing, right? Like the CBD coverage, Medicaid thing sounds wonderful. The dude even mentioned in his little jerk off speech about his first 100 days or his first year cap, right? He included the executive order, which hasn't done shit because Bonnie's still holding on to it, right? In this authoritarian government, why can't you just make this one thing happen? Why is it gotta be fucking Greenland? Just fucking make Greenland happen.
Invading Minnesota. Did not have that on my bingo card. Why are you invading Minnesota and trying to buy Greenland when you could easily finish the hearing or any progress on rescheduling?
Yeah,
there's been none. And then what's going to happen next month? Are we going to get the FDA to release the list of cannabinoids, or are they going to blow that deadline too? Because that's coming up in about 2 weeks. I think it's the 10th of February.
I mean, if legalization rescheduling were to happen, do we really need to carry on this conversation about CBD products and hemp products, right? Cannabinoids. Because once scheduling happens, now because there was a study recently where most products that were on the market that are tailored towards both government and first responders, because drug testing, right? It's oh, hey, bro, these are negative. This CBD product has no THC, but it's the same fucking plant. There's going to be THC in there, and possibly enough for you to lose your job, right?
Correct.
And so
especially for full spectrum. So what are you going to do with that? Yeah. So you got full spectrum CBD. Sold and subsidized on Medicare, sold probably over the counter or something at Walgreens or who knows when that policy gets here. And now people are they're failing their drug test, but then it's a Schedule 3. It's right. So it's not a Schedule 1 fail anymore. Now it's a Schedule 3. But also, if they don't fix that CBD full spectrum, that's marijuana, that CBD full spectrum, because it's got more than the threshold per container for hemp. And that legislation, I bet, doesn't happen until after the election.
Which is why, I mean, this is a lame duck president. Why can't he just like make shit happen? Like you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it's like, more about empowering the ego right now, which is unfortunate. But you know, we do have some Second Amendment proposals. Oh, you good? You there?
No. Now I've really screwed stuff up. And somebody's like, hey, I can't see your stuff. And so why are you back?
Here we go.
And so like, it's we only have this one on YouTube. And so like YouTube prioritizes reels when they're live now. And so like we have one like that. And so somebody's watching it on their phone.
Sure.
And it's a bad like user experience. Like they can see the bottom half of my shirt and the top half of Miggy's head from like the note. And I'm like, oh, there's a way to fix that. And so I hit a button and it totally fucked it up.
Oh, I get you. But you know, I guess we can explain it more, because we were reading an article from MJ Biz, since you can't really see the article I was displaying, but it's really just the topic is President Trump's promise to cover CBD via Medicaid and limbo as hemp THC protections stall, right? And those protections being they were just removed out of the new spending bill,
right?
So again, you still have a deadline, November, right? This is not the government wants to pander to the hemp industry. You fucked. You know, that's it. I just don't know how to say it, but sell your goods, redivest. You know, this is the time to redivest.
Yeah, and so your hemp is good, but that's the thing. Like, stop trying to make hemp weed, or stop trying to make hemp THC. You're gonna get nowhere politically with that. But if you want to make hemp full spectrum, you will get somewhere politically with that. That's the real strange thing, where they're just in denial and like they've dug themselves in a hole. And so to fix it, they're going to dig their way out. Makes no sense, but that's kind of what's happening with the hemp policy right now, as they're trying to get it delayed, as opposed to saying, well, how do we fix the per container limit and make full spectrum CBD oil a thing that's out there for people? They aren't doing that. They're saying, like, how do I get more THC units? How do I get 5 milligrams per container? Nope. Yeah, per package, and then 50 milligrams per container. I think container is the bigger one, or the case. They're trying to do as much THC as they can, but not really defining full spectrum CBD.
Well, and this is the problem, right? We're people who are in this president, whatever, because you call it the cannabis industry still. I say you want to be hemp, fucking your rope and whatever, right? You're going to be weed. But like, people who are making money right now that's their focus, right? How much THC can I squeeze in this fucking thing legally? Well, how about try and changing the law? Because essentially you're talking about is THC regulation, right? To be the difference of hemp cannabis, federal versus states, right? Mm-hmm. And how do we get there? How do we get this? You know, decrim is not going to happen overnight.
No.
What happened to the MORE Act?
Like the MORE what is the only thing that they've passed? They passed anything. They passed something about opening up research, and then Bondi just buffed that or diffed that deadline a couple weeks ago. I'll pull up that story. I don't think it's in our stack. But what's our next story for it?
Well, our next story is actual progress, right? So the feds are actually proposing Second Amendment ban for cannabis consumers and others. So they're actually trying to rewrite the rules where, like, lawful consumption, right? Because that's kind of like what we're talking about, legality here. We're trying to, like, you know, one of the things that I'm trying to counter out Chris 420 Blazes arguments, because they're the hempsters, you know, but he's the only one whose videos I've been watching and trying to, like, understand, like, bro.
I think he's the only one that's making the videos. Like, I don't know anybody else who's hemp THC. Maybe Yola. Is Yola still pushing hemp?
No, Dope's all like, he's like, you know, he knows, like, that was like a minute. Whereas I think this was like Chris's main gig, which I get, because he was trying to sell CBD kratom in the history. Like, you know, you try to see someone's past, like, what's your knowledge base? What's your understanding of like the rules? Because isn't it like we're all trying to, like, follow the rules legally? Like that's what legalization is about, like, it for business and for the consumer. right? Everybody's trying to be legal. And to say that the federal legal hemp is legally had made it legal is kind of dumb because like we need rules like this for like with the Second Amendment rules, like gun possession or medicine. Rescheduling it is important because it locks in as medicine. But like because eventually there's going to be like those hemp guards, right? The big MSOs. You know, people like, who are you fucking protecting? You know, right. I want a fair legalization and the market that we're going to be selling in. And again,
which has limits, like, you know, you're 10 dispensaries. That's all you can manage or own. That's it. You know, it's not the whole supply chain. And so it's not like trying to be Budweiser as it was with the THCA people, because then you were just had the national cannabis market. And where did that cannabis come from? Who knows? It could have been falling off the back of a truck in Oklahoma or in, you know, the whole West Coast, except for Washington State, which actually controls its supply pretty well.
Shit. Oh man, I hate when the fucking trolls jump in.
Oh, good.
But trying to be clear. Trying to read Cole's message. I said we.
Oh, that's all right. You know, he'll be around. Feds propose amending Second Amendment ban for cannabis consumers and others. I'm not a gun guy. I never have been. I like guns because I'm an American and I think it's your right to have one. I don't know.
Well, this is about the what's considered use, right? Legal use. And so this is allowing for gun ATF type bullshit, right? Starting to restructure that. Now, eventually, like people in legal states, which I hate using that term. Why we don't say legal states for alcohol?
Well, we should just go straight up, you know, slavery on it and call it free states and slave states. And so like the slave states is Idaho, you know, that's a bad one. And like Texas was like weird entrapment where it's like, you know, if they're going to come at you after you bought the hemp, and now it's going to go back to being like a red state with a shitty medical program, which sucks. And so are they organizing to lobby to change that law? Because Texas takes next year off with the laws, which is kind of fascinating. But yeah, Pam Bondi did totally blow it. And so she missed a deadline on the 16th of January. So we didn't do a show last week. You know, I was at Disney and Mickey had his birthday. She missed a deadline that she was supposed to ease barriers to scientific research on Schedule I substances, including marijuana and certain psychedelics. That was like the only thing that Congress has been able to pass, that law. And that law had these particular provisions in it so that they could do more research on cannabis and other, you know, Schedule I drugs that are more like psilocybin. So psychedelic research.
And again,
she missed it. And so like, there you go. And it's 10 days later. Tomorrow's the 26th. Still missed.
Yeah. You know what I think I worry about, dude? This is my take on rescheduling. All the people freaking out about rescheduling, which is a lot of people, including High Times, you know, big names and people in industry who have this opinion like shit's going to happen overnight. Like shit's going to change. I think legalization right now, rescheduling is going to be just another chapter in a fucking book. You know how close they came during the Carter administration for cannabis legalization? So
close. And then somebody decided to spark a joint. His name was Keith Straub. People blamed him. Not sure if there's anything to it. It was 55 years ago. I think it was not his fault.
He admits it. He admits it because it was a Paraguay, right? Like that's something we don't talk about. Was like the United States was actively spreading chemicals over another country's products in their, you know, an illegal product, but with the intention of like, oh, we'll ruin your shit. But yet it was still being sold to Americans, and that was what Keith Straub was pissed about because he was trying to persuade America to stop doing that. And so that I mean, and again, legalization lost the pettiness. What are we going to lose now? Because rescheduling would be a step. You know, here our next story is my state, Washington State, where we have a homegrow bill on the books again.
That's great. Now you guys do have, like Illinois has, a medical homegrow, but you do not have adult homegrow, which is bad. And so same with us here in Illinois. And so it is 20 past the hour. Smoke them if you got them. We'll be right back after a short interlude. You know what we didn't plug? The QR code. We're going over our cannabis legalization news for the week, and we send that newsletter out when the show goes live, so you get a notice about it. and we can't text you. I'm sorry. We would like to when it goes live, but the content of the show is actually not allowed to use the text messaging, because we are what they call a shaft industry. If this is interesting to you, you'll find more stories all about that, and that QR code right there. Sign up for our newsletter and get notice when we go live.
Yo. So
Next,
yeah,
we were talking about Washington State.
yeah. Again, we legalized it in 2012. 14
12.
years later, we're still yeah. And that's why I think rescheduling is not it's a much ado about nothing. It's like the process to whatever the next steps are going to be in this legalization world. Consumers are still going to buy how you've been buying it. You're still going to grow and sell. Like that's the whole thing about I guess cannabis culture has been the fucking outlawedness, right? The people are going to do it no matter what. Like that's culture. Right. So crying, I'm not worrying about the fucking the rescheduling to me because nothing's going to happen right away. And again, this is the third one. 2 of them had died in committee. I would like it. I would like to be optimistic, but now this is the kind of shit that beats you up. Where I'm like, I get it. Where people are like, the Cheeto's not going to do nothing, or this administration and all that shit. But like, it's just slow because you get shit like the gun thing. That would be a difference, right? It's all about rights and empowerment.
Well, they were supposed to write these rules, and they missed it. And so, like, he's telling her to go do this thing expeditiously, and the appeal's just hanging out there. And then, hey, let's start this new law so we can do some research, promulgate and publish those rules. Whoops, missed it. Hey, where are the Epstein files? I got to go on break.
Yeah. But I mean, that'd be real work if you actually like pass shit. Because then now the legislation has to take action for the rules that keep you out of jail, that stop fucking raids and from small to big. Because your crimes, as they are in most legal states now, are like violations of the rules, and that person gets their fucking license revoked, right? Like that's, and that's sad for that person who decided to stretch the laws and fucking, you deserve that for not trying to break the rules, period.
Right. Not trying to break the rules, but I think that adults in Illinois and in Washington State should be allowed to grow at least 5 plants. Like, I'm a medical patient. I'm allowed to grow 5 plants. That's enough. It's a pain in the ass, but it's 5 plants is a lot. And in Missouri, I think it's 12 for adults. And Missouri has healthy demand. I am of the opinion that adult homegrow stimulates demand, because I know that I don't have 6 months to grow a fucking plant. So I'll just go buy some, I can't tell you that. That would ruin the name of that strain.
Well, plus varieties though, right? Like that's my goal with our store that we're about to open up is I recognize that there is a community there that smokes with they grow their own, right? And they already have their sharing product or whatever.
Yeah, the grow their own guys are down the block. And so the grow shop is called Grow Up Gardening. It's just down the block. Yeah. And they've lost a vertical. They aren't going to be able to sell their seeds or their clones or even hemp. They were trying to sell hemp. But everybody's selling it. And so like that gaming salon that's up the block from us too, they're selling, like they're the closest dispensary to us, but that's going to change.
I just think we're going to offer a selection, right? We're offering an alternative to.
We're offering quality. We're offering quality and cleanliness and price and value. And so, we're going to have a $25 menu. We're going to have a $10 menu. And then we're going to have good, better, best pricing so that it's really easy. And so there's a menu theory that I'll go over. Well, I'll do a YouTube on the menu theory. We're going to sell that service to other dispensaries that want a higher gross margin, because we have a gross margin target. And if we nail it, we're going to see how high we can put it. Like, can I get a 52% gross margin on the store 1 month? That's a challenge.
Yeah, we will not have a drive-through window.
We cannot. No, it's actually prohibited in the law right now. And so you're not allowed to do it. And we still won't be able to do it after it becomes the law, because the ordinance in the city says you can't do it. So like, even if the state said we could do it, we still can't do it. Just like we can't have a consumption lounge, but you can go to any bar and get one of those beverages and get high as hell drinking it.
Yeah. I still really want to get one of those old school bank vacuum chutes for the weed. That'd be cool. But
no, we have a box.
No, I get it. No, we're going by the rules. I'm just saying.
Container. Like that, we could not make the pass-through container any larger. That's the limit. Like it's in the rules. It can be this much by that much, located right here. And so the amount of ADA compliance, the amount of security compliance, and so now we're getting to a good spot in our dispensaries build out. We're getting close to where you have to talk to a sign guy. And so now I got to go find the sign guy because there are numerous signs you must have or you cannot do business, like warning signs and stuff.
This is just pretty much Tom doing all this work. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've been planning and understanding how to do a business. You know, everybody that wants to like, oh, it's unfair that it costs $1 million to fucking get in the legal cannabis. You know what? Yeah, yes, it sucks. But it's just what it is. And it's just like you're meeting goals, you're meeting the compliance side of things. You know, coming up, our next story is Chicago. You know, their city council approves a hemp THC ban. And
beverages safe. So there's a carve out for it. And so like those beverages still become marijuana in November. I mean, they still think there's going to be it's becoming more and more a certainty. And so like, I would already give it like 96%. 96% certainty that the hemp ban will go into effect in November. Oh yeah, because you're getting into season already with the primaries. So the primary season's already heating up, and that's going to push you out until spring. Some primaries are in June, so that really kind of like eats up how much people are going to be able to go and vote. And then you're into summer, and now you have the general. And so, who is going to stick their neck out for gas station weed? Who?
You know,
before that, Rand Paul. You know. Is he even running?
And again, I mean, if they can try, they already got stripped one way. I don't think it'll be approved any other way. But like, if rescheduling happens, this hemp conversation is null and void. Rescheduling happens, you can try and be weed now.
No.
I mean, there's going to be
no. If rescheduling happens, like there's still a difference between marijuana and hemp. Sure. Unscheduled, like no rules. Right. Provided that it's the THC, CBD compliant, whatever. No rules. Marijuana, lots of rules. Schedule 3, like we still can't put it into interstate commerce because we're out of compliance with the FDA's law. And so like there's just and then the timeline on that is redonkulous. And so then you have not Nancy Mace, Pam Bondi already blowing these deadlines. So how many other deadlines is she going to blow on the way to getting it rescheduled?
Well, I get that part, but like you broke it down earlier in like 2 videos ago about like the whole CSRA shit. Like nobody really cares about this stuff, right? But you understand and know that these are requirements, just like the FDA has obligation to change the rules to shape around this organic plant, right? But once rescheduling were to fucking happen, that's the 3. Again, you're gonna have entrepreneurs who are like, "Look, I am cannabis, right? I am weed." And what I'm saying is
they can do it for hemp. They can do it for hemp, like for marijuana under the law, which we really need to delete. By the way, it will still be what it is now. If anything, it'll be like what it was before the hemp boom. It'll be like it'll be the legal industry in 2018.
No, I get that, right? And what I'm saying though, but like people who are actively like, if you're a good grower or something under the guise of hemp, and who's been selling it as hemp, right? Like all these people, weed cigs, Trump weed, they all source their shit from somewhere. And so what I'm saying is, though, if rescheduling were to happen, couldn't they try like, okay, yeah, I'm weed. This is what I really am. And then let the market try and discern, because who's going to go after them, right? Who's going to, isn't that what legalization is really about, right? It's like
the state laws, right? And so it's still illegal. Like Schedule 3 marijuana is still illegal. It's like unlicensed steroids or unlicensed ketamine. And so but steroids and ketamine you can actually put into interstate commerce legally. But then you can do it illegally if you're not selling it appropriately. So we're doing a variation of that. So we're still doing something that's illegal. Mm-hmm. It's on the pathway to becoming more legal, but it literally takes congressional change. Like to get there will actually take congressional change. And now with the hemp bill being so messed up, that I hope it's really a collision course, but I don't like how they're trying to delay the hemp one and not legalize it. They're really kind of being backed into the corner, like Congress, you have to legalize it.
But even with rescheduling though, wouldn't someone try and like under what guise would they start arresting and raiding the people selling? Right?
Under
If someone
Project 2025. Like, okay, no, what do you mean? Who's selling? Selling what? So like selling like us selling with the license, or selling like on the block?
Like hemp. Like what's preventing someone like once
Oh
rescheduling happens?
yeah, the feds DEA could come in right now. They don't, because the DEA considers anything with more than 1% THC on a gas chromatograph to be considered marijuana. And they also consider all those gummies and edibles and Delta 8 to be marijuana. Like read their opinion pieces that come out of the DEA. They just don't have the political appetite, which is strange considering that what the Trump administration's political appetite is. Why wouldn't they start arresting potheads? If anything, that's a little bit easier than what ICE is doing now.
Yeah, but what's like what is the path then to sell a Schedule 3 product? You know what I mean?
Like the state systems that we have in place. So the more state systems might become a thing if it's recognized as Schedule 3. So you might see more state systems, but there's no federal system that exists. And so there's still this federal vacuum that we have to fill to show. And I think that the full spectrum CBD to get into Medicare lane, that gives us an opportunity to start defining these things and figuring out, okay, this is hemp. This is industrial hemp, closing shit. This is hemp for cannabinoids. This is a cannabinoid, hemp product. This is marijuana. We should stop calling it marijuana. Maybe you would call it THC cannabis if you still have to have some type of moniker for it to be bad.
What's that mean, though?
Okay.
If we're focusing on the cannabinoid on the hemp side, isn't that essentially the same fucking plant? And it's just like, why even bother dealing with that being the hemp?
Because then we should really just take out marijuana and just put THC in its place, because you can't have one without the other. And then we've gotten rid of like a racist name that's pejorative, that's probably behind much of the stigma, that historically speaking, for the past 90 years, 100 years, the term itself, marijuana, was part of the stigma. It was done to confuse what the doctors were doing. Oh, speaking of, I think that CannaChem person, we're going to have her on the show. I'm going to go on her show. She'd be able to help us understand that. But like, look at your history. When they banned it back in 37 and before at the state level, that's why they called the cannabis indica plant marijuana, because it's scary. And so like that's still federal law for THC. Let's just delete the marijuana, make it all THC. Put the cannabis definition of where the origin story of THC is, because like we basically have total THC. When the FDA gives us the list of all the cannabinoids that get you high, that really is our opportunity to deschedule it. Marijuana is now descheduled because it would not exist. Like you would cease to have marijuana be a thing at the federal level. You would have THC, which you would then schedule in Schedule 3 or Schedule 1 if you consider it like chemically synthesized, or you haven't done the research on it.
I don't know, man. I don't think any sort of hemp natural cannabis should be Schedule 1, but like
THCO, THCP, THC is like that you made in the lab and you were tinkering with the
artificial
semi-synthetic. It's kind of like heroin. Heroin was a brand name from was it Baird Pharmaceuticals? Yeah, Baird Pharmaceuticals. So like they branded heroin, and it was just they did some chemistry to the opioid from what is it called? The opium plants or the hash? No, it was opium plants, right? The opium poppies. And so like, they did some chemistry to it, and then they gave it a moniker. We're going to call this heroin.
Sure. But again, these are just baby steps to just get not fucked with, right? That's the whole point of legalization. What we have here from MPP, 2026 cannabis ballot measures, will progress be pushed forward or rolled back? So I think it's wild that we even have stuff trying to pull shit back, right? Like this Arizona one, that's kind of a guise of like breaking the regulatory system over there, because that's all that's what that does. It says, hey, you don't need a store, right?
Wow. Yeah. But remember, the way that those Western states legalized were through the ballot initiative. Right. And very often, the easiest states to get on a ballot initiative is the state where they're trying to play right now. So you don't see them trying to repeal or organize anything in Florida, where it's fucking difficult to get on the ballot, or in Missouri, where you have more restrictions to how you can get on the ballot. You see it in Maine and in Massachusetts and now in Arizona, where it's easier to get on the ballot.
Sure,
And
but
we'll see. Let's see who get on the ballot. Good luck. Morons.
It's tricky wording how they have Arizona's, because it's like almost they're like, hey, we want to keep it legal, but like let's get rid of the stores, which that would destroy.
Right.
Like
there's no way Raul is going to let that happen.
Grijalva?
Raul, the guy who owns the Mint Cannabis, and so like, not just Mint Cannabis, and so all the people, Mita, they can, the people that have licenses in Arizona will not let that happen. They will write checks.
Well, I think it's
people like them, you know.
Yeah, but why would you want this? It just seems silly to me, because like in the end, you're gonna need a source, right? So then you're gonna go back to a guy, which is dumb. Because like you're gonna make people like try and communicate with each other. How it's so nice to go to a store. You don't have to. Unfortunately for Illinois, they do the like the Vada model. I hate that. I hate ours, even though like it's in a jar. I hate that part of it. But and there's a lot of things to this legalization process that sucks. That people want decrim overnight, and why rescheduling is so important. So shit like this, like states don't get their legalization fucked with. The federal,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got Florida's gonna be on the ballot.
Oh yeah, but Florida is similar to Arizona in the sense that Florida's even more corporate than Arizona. Arizona's going corporate, and so like the guys in our chat was like saying that's not how Arizona started out. Remember guy, I think he's in Oklahoma now. He was out of Arizona though, as a medical grower, from social media. I'm not sure. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. One of those growers that was from, and he had the Zonka brand.
Oh, Chris. Yeah.
Chris.
I think he was.
But like they changed how they did it. Like they used to have more like how Michigan used to be.
Oh, the medical.
You had the medical, and like in Seattle, and so like medical was definitely less. It was less industry. It was free market, less regulated. Let's say it was definitely less regulated.
100%.
And so like there was way fewer rules, and now there's going to be more rules. I mean, there's rules if you're going to try to make like a moon pie and sell that en masse. Like you're going to have the right packaging. You have to comply with the FDCA, and so like that's what's really come into the industry with these licenses, is this compliance aspect of it.
And again, not all the rules are great. Like I think packaging's shitty. I think disposable vapes are shitty.
Our vault is stupid.
Shitty.
Right. I mean, it's that vault requirement is ridiculous. And so like there's different requirements depending on where you are. And our vault requirements are, I'm going to try to see if I can find the most onerous vault requirements. I would bet money that it's Illinois. Like I'm just not 100% on that yet. I mean, I will be 100% on if Illinois has the most strenuous vault requirements next week. But I think it is, because like I've seen what they get away with in New Mexico, New Jersey, Missouri, and I'm just like, damn, that would save $50,000.
And there's still a lot for Illinois rules to be fixed, right? Like the fact that to sell it to patients. Right.
Yep. That's been introduced in Illinois. I don't know if it'll pass because we have the medical mafia runs Illinois, and so they don't want to share their medical patients. But there's bills this year to turn us into a hybrid bill, and I think if it was Schedule 3, that makes a lot more sense. But maybe not. And it's just the medical providers, and so I really don't want publicly traded cannabis companies. It'd be great if they were like too small to become publicly traded, more like craft breweries. Sure, you can become a publicly traded craft brewery. You're probably not, though, right?
But it's
probably not.
The publicly traded thing, though, isn't that kind of like a goal, though, for like some of these companies like Stizzy and Glasshouse?
Sure. I mean? Or like Green Thumb Industries or Curleaf or Cresco or Verano. But that aspect of it, treating it as if it was Budweiser or treating it as if it was Coca-Cola, is not the best thing. It's not the best policy outcome. And so like if you treat it more like a local brewery, a craft brewery, where it becomes difficult for you to consolidate like that. That's where you have more spreading of the wealth. But then that's real, like that's socialism, because now you're actually picking the winners and losers. Or it's at least oligopoly, where you have somebody who gets just to control all the oil in Russia. You'll have the oil in Russia, you'll have the uranium.
Well, and none of this is fair, right? We don't have homegrow here, but we have Idaho, or the next state. They have medical cannabis, and
don't go there.
No, ever.
Idaho, don't recommend it.
You be the hoe.
Yep.
But yeah.
No,
it's a
you got it.
state.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just looking at the chart here.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Let's put the chart back up there. So yeah, moving on down the list. Idaho. Oof. They might actually pass it there. We'll see. But then it's by statute? No way.
Two measures. One's a constitutional, one is a statute. So,
but in Idaho, it's I see. Yeah, there we go. House Joint Resolution, basic future drug policy reform ballot measures. Is that to repeal it? Because like Idaho's got nothing.
Oh shit! I think that is. Let's see the House Joint Resolution. Let's click on that and see. But I think that does like disable. But blockers. Constitutional change. A ballot of men, underlying power authority, intoxicating liquors, and psychoactive substances. Formed after the first 30-day December 1934, effective immediately upon adoption of bioletters, the legislature of Idaho shall have the power and authority to legalize the growing, producing, manufacturing. So I think it's a good thing. It adds to the Constitution.
Yeah, because I thought the point of that article was for the rolling back, the people that were trying to ban it, and like Idaho can't because it's already banned. It's banned pretty good in Idaho.
It's just all the policies that are coming up, because I think it's like Rhode Island that has some to roll it back, or Massachusetts. That's the one.
Massachusetts does. Yeah, Massachusetts and Maine, and then Arizona. I don't think that's going to be how it is, but those are the easier states to get on the ballot. That's how come it got like that. States like mine, you have to actually pass a law at the General Assembly. Good luck on that.
Well, again, it's about you taking action in your state, right? Idaho itself. There's a strong activism still community there, right? It's kind of like legacy of Seattle Hemp Fest, those people, because they have I think it's Boise Hemp Fest, or one of those Moscow Hemp Fest, some city there. But again, it's not as ballsy as Hemp Fest was, where people were smoking left and right, cops were walking past you, high-fiving you. That was what the future could look like, right? You experience this world where smokers and police can get along, and it was just a much ado about nothing, which is this plant overall, which is part of the frustration about getting rules and legalization and rights. And
there's just none at the federal level. There's none. And we've been doing this podcast, I think, oh my gosh, has this been 7 years? We started in it was February of 2019, I think, is when we started, right? Because that was when Illinois was gearing up to legalize it, because they had just elected J.B. Pritzker. And it's pretty interesting that's when we started, and here we are, almost 7 years later, still nothing.
Well,
remember that when you're reading your marijuana moment or your Dale's report tomorrow. Still nothing.
You know what a great read on history is? It's this book right here, The Grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rise and fall and rise of marijuana, and it talks about like shit from the guy who just lit the first joint and went to prison for a year, and then he started out like from the 60s. We've been arguing about this fucking much ado about nothing for a long time, and it's really a waste of our society's time, right? Like, speaking of bullshit, though, our next story is the wine spirits wholesalers of America are pro fucking extending hemp, right? Like, everybody's like worried about big liquor, but big liquor wants it.
Hemp has sold their industry to the liquor industry. They did. Hemp sold their industry to the liquor industry because of small business. Try to wrap your head around that.
That's a good one. No, that's 100% it. It's hemp is. I just never thought it's gummies and drinks that took off, right? Where most cannabis consumers know, like RSO. I just I educated some guys the other day. They were looking for some stuff for their grandma, and I was like, well, they got gummies and shit like that, but also RSO.
Yeah.
Add it to whatever you're eating.
RSO gummies. And so, like this, the Relief brand, they have a line of gummies called Rain that are RSO gummies. And so, if you want a full spectrum THC, like type 1 cannabis, not type 3 cannabis cultivar, so full spectrum there would be 20-to-1 ratio CBD THC. Here, it's your THC, but then it's the RSO was used for your milligram dosage. And that, I mean, it's only 10 milligrams, but it is a full spectrum product as opposed to just isolated THC.
Are we allowed? Is RSO in the market? Is it a SKU? Sweet.
Yeah. We have it come in grams, and there's like a dablicator, so you can put out the rice size dosage. It's great, and so I'm looking for it because I do enjoy the RSO products, and so we're going to carry those. There's some really cool hash products that we'll also be carrying. That I'm excited about, and so those will be. But you have to remember that our menu, while that will have them, that is less than 5% of sales.
Sure. Well, speaking of the Relief, we should check out the sponsor.
Let's play. Yes. Let's do our sponsor and do some Name That Strain.
This name is delicious. It's a delicious name.
Oh, yes. It is a delicious name. And it is one that you can buy from Seed. Its parents are Jelly Donuts, number 117, and Purple Cartel by Exotic Flowers. And it's, of course, an indica dominant hybrid. What isn't a hybrid these days? So it has the smell and the flavor totally give it away. Like the information on the smell and the flavor, I almost can't tell you that, because it's just so giving you like the clues of it. But did they say, might as well, because I mean, if you don't, otherwise maybe you're not going to guess it. I'm not sure if anything. No, people are coming in, people are getting it, and so somebody just had it, chicken and waffles.
Oh,
chicken
shit!
And waffles, yeah. People are getting it. You gotta watch the
chat
feed coming up.
It was
on
Chris
these things in the chat.
Oh shit, Chris said it too.
It's Chris. There you go, chicken and waffles. Yep,
Oh,
it's one of those where if you give them, let me see if the smell on that is correct. So it says maple syrup, sourdough waffle, and a secret blend of herbs and spices. Yeah, it smells like weed, so I'm going to say definitely herbs and spices. And then, of course, the smell is salted butter and log cabin syrup and KFC on the exhale. That's if I actually have it. I'll have that later. But chicken and waffles.
Was really
Jelly Donuts number 117, crossed by Purple Cartel by Humboldt Seed Company. You can go get it over there.
Was Relief the hash hole junk, the one that I smoked?
Yep.
Awesome. That was good weed.
They're close, and so we're going to really have a lot of craft grow stuff, so a lot of craft cannabis. But you have to understand how people buy weed. I got this much money. I want to see how much I can get.
Yeah, that's how I buy weed. I mean,
but you're not going to buy like the bootiest shit, though, right?
No. I actually got a decent ounce here for 140. So
that's how much our decent ounces are. But then we will probably have an ounce for 95. And so we'll have.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
There's $10 ounces here, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch that. I don't even get that shit away from my face. Like what is
$10 ounces? We can't do that. We're not allowed to do outgrow. We're not allowed to do outdoor.
I just say that it's shit. Like I wouldn't trust it. Butter, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're turning into wax. I don't know, but $10.
Edibles are about they're 40. Well, if you're including vapes, it's about like 45%, 60%, not 60, 45, 46 of the market. And like the flower will probably be about 30, and then if you include pre-rolls, 45, 50.
Funny story. Going through my process here and comparing it to the online bullshit like the weed cigs. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no value in.
Right. No, they use our prices to set theirs.
But like some of theirs, for the quality, it's like, why would you even bother? I don't know. Canadians, I know they get it through the mail. But if you just go to a store and see it in person, like through the mail, you're risking the handling of this product. Like it's cool if it shows up, but like I don't know. It's something about you don't order bananas online or
No, you go to the store and you get them for like 55 cents a pound.
You know what I mean? Like you're not ordering like your dinner. Yeah. That's the whole point. But our next story is coming out of I think Dayton.
Dayton, or are we at Oklahoma, or are we at area community college?
Ohio.
Yeah, area communities finally getting millions in cannabis tax revenue. It's about time. It's out of Dayton, Ohio. Host community fund after delays tied to legislative authority and allocation calculations. So this is what really scares me when I read stories like this about state monies going back. And I'm like, hey, Biggie, remember that loan we applied for back in September, to help launch our store? Here we are. It's the last week of January. DCO said they would tell us in January. And they were looking for social equity, never gotten money before, ready to open, or close to getting open. And that's us. And then we're in a DIA. You're a justice involved. You've been arrested.
Yeah.
You're also a minority. And so they do minority publications. And then that was in the last press release. They said 81% of them, or 83% of the funds went to minority owned businesses.
This is just nerve wracking. People
oh my gosh, because people want to know when the store is opening, and I'm like, well, I got a range that I can give you. Yeah.
Well, and again, when people point to failures in this social equity stuff, this shit was never going to be easy, right? Like there's a guy I read a story. This guy owns 4 stores and he's bitching about the progress. I'm like, why do you have 4 stores? Why don't you just get one going really good first before you stretch yourself thin? Because now you got.
Well, that's one of the reasons why, because there's about 40 of the Illinois licenses that were issued back in 2021 that still haven't gotten operational, and a lot of it was because they tied up all these stores, and they're like, well, we'll just find somebody who'll give us millions of dollars, and then suddenly we have all these stores and we're ready to go. Guess who never got the millions? Those guys. Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with the hemp too, right? Wouldn't you say the hemp fuckers?
That's our next story. I mean, the area community finally getting their money from the Ohio program, money that is promised in these programs. And that's something that you need to understand. When you promise money or you do social equity and you prioritize that. Oh, thank you. Shout out to the Dank Informer. We're on Twitter. Hi. Yeah. You can find me on X. I'm sorry, I should call it X. Otherwise, I'm probably going to get deprecated by Elon's algorithm.
Yeah, choose pronouns.
I'm standing my X's. I don't think that's what they call it. Skeets. Nope. Probably shouldn't use that either. Yeah.
All right.
But right. Yeah. Focus. But then the monies that they're going to do, and so it's great that they have all these dispensaries that need to stand open, and so it's only for the social equity holders, and so we can't fuck with our cap table, and we haven't fucked with our cap table. We don't have any convertible notes or anything like that. And again, we get open, it's the same thing. Yeah,
we're coming up in our 3rd year. I haven't quit my day job, right?
3rd year. We applied 3 years ago, basically to the day. It was the last week. We did it on the show 3 years ago. If you guys remember that, thumbs up. Hopefully you're a subscriber, because shit, dude, that was 3 years ago, and now we're just close to getting open. But dealing with hemp and then dealing with social equity, now that they have that $250,000, that's not enough to get you there. Mm-hmm. It's enough after you're ready to open to get you open.
Yeah.
To hire, to buy your equipment, to do some inventory, to pay some rent. But you have to have a turnkey dispensary ready to go, and those don't exist.
Well, and I think too, we're starting a business where we have to. All markets are local, right? We're not going to be fucking drop shipment motherfuckers. I just don't get the people who are willing to do that. I've never. That's why we didn't sell the hemp shit, right? It's not because I just don't trust a motherfucker. Right. I'm not going to sell your shit. Now going to this Illinois market, knowing that they're regulated. I think one of our stories is how someone was buying or receiving other people's stuff that wasn't part of the regulated market. That's a restriction. We got to go with people who have licenses and are following the rules per this day. And then if shit does happen, we have recourse. So do you, right? There's a faulty.
Right. We have a recall. We have an SOP on recalls. We have an SOP on destruction. We have a born on date on ours. We have a dispose of date. And so that's how you know it's on sale. But the next story really kind of shows what we've had for the past few years. That's the next story is where hemp kind of probably comes from. to be honest. Hemp comes from states like the one that's our story number 8. So like
You got
that one.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, the Oklahoma one, right?
Well, I don't think that's really a hemp related, though. You think Oklahoma authorities
Well,
say state market
the diversion, and so like you test it. I mean, like marijuana is the definition of hemp, provided that you haven't lit the joint on fire, and then you tested it a month before you harvested it. And so there's a lot of fake COAs out there. They're probably or who is actually growing THCA weed on a license? I'm sure some people are, but I don't know if it's all of it, you know?
That's a great question, though, because like that's why I do say about the China shit, because you don't have to fucking back up what you're selling, right? Like this is, I imagine, because I remember when we were in New Mexico, CannaCon, speaking to some Oklahoma people, they were receiving bad product just so they could turn it into like concentrate, right? Like it was like moldy shit, but they were like, you know, a lot of after. So this shit's always going on like that. There's always something. With this story, though, I think it has to do with like they said Oklahoma grew this much, but only sold this much, right? So you have a lot missing. Well, I just falls off the truck. I just goes to Texas.
Well, or you
know,
I also manage a hemp drop shipping company from Tulsa, and so like you know how much of that was sold as hemp online direct to consumers.
That would be probably some good hemp though.
That'd be some good hemp, yeah. Better than that booty crap that you were smoking. Where did you get that stuff from? Yeah,
that Pine Park shit, dude. No, that Pine Park
yeah.
stuff. I was very disappointed. It was booty. It was expensive. And then, oh, did you know? It turns out too, that guy's in bed with some like big gamer dude, and this gamer dude,
probably makes sense.
Team, he was trying to sponsor his shit through like Bay Smokes type bullshit, but like EA Sports said no, which I think is kind of funny because like. EA Sports has a lot of like Call of Duty has a lot of like marijuana violence and shit, all that too. But like there's a lot of cannabis weed theme shit. It's like, why would you be afraid to like just whatever? I mean, and again, it's weeds, hemp bullshit's dumb. It's shitty, but like if you're gonna hustle it, but the end is near. Yeah,
the end is very close. And then that's the political calendar does not look well for that stuff. We need comprehensive cannabis reform. Comprehensive cannabis reform is what we need. We don't need an extension. We do need Schedule 3, but we need comprehensive cannabis reform at the congressional level. The administration, they can't do it, you know, and the only people that really can are the people that have to get elected this year. So they aren't going to do it. They're going to run on it. They aren't. You can't say I'm going to fix it and fix it before you have the vote.
But when you say
don't you get that, you know,
congressional level though, you're talking like a MORE Act or something, right?
A MORE Act, or like here's how you define hemp beverage. Here's how you define THC to CBD ratio. Here's how many milligrams is the cutoff between hemp and marijuana. And here's how marijuana, when it's Schedule 3, our licenses need to do X, Y, and Z if you want to put it into the stream of interstate commerce. And so like all of those. And maybe, you know, the best part about cannabis is that it is an agricultural product, but so are strawberries, and most of those come from like very few places on our planet, or like on our country. So I can still see like California powering a lot of the weed, or Arizona, the places where they're growing all the food right now that are agricultural, not like number 2 yellow corn, but it's one of those things where it doesn't. You know, it's like strawberries. They can go bad, right? And so like you have to have very, very good supply chain to keep it fresh on the shelf by the time it needs to be sold. And it would be great if we could like sell some Humboldt shit. The people from Illinois might get pissed because it's like, well, why aren't you selling our shit?
Oh, dude, I would love to have like a map of the United States on the wall and weed from each state, right? We do that for fucking beer and everything else. Yeah. So I couldn't like I get it, but like right now, that's kind of also the great thing about like I haven't had any good Nevada weed, but like the thing about these small
think about
markets,
how hard it is for Nevada weed, though.
But I'm just saying,
it's a desert. It's a fucking desert. Like poor weed, you know.
But with these small markets, right? These are still condensed markets. The hemp shit's now booty, but like you have these state markets. Everybody wants to say like dispensary weed's bad or whatever, but maybe you just had a bad experience. So on. or whatever, right? Like, it's like just going to the store now. There's nothing special about the fucking weed I'm buying, and
Right.
you know,
Except it's been tested and was grown on a license, and so you have recourse if there's something wrong. And so, like, what's your recall strategy for your THC hemp product that you're selling?
oh,
You ain't got one.
And I get that's your argument towards the consumer protection, but I also think safe access, you know, is a huge thing as well, and also the know your customer, right? Like knowing, like, okay, it is getting tested. They want to say they're self-regulating with the testing and the pesticides, but I doubt. You know, that's expensive to test. That's a big whine. Oh, well, there's limited labs. Well, that's because the labs have to meet regulation too, right? And then the labs have to figure out the bandwidth to, like, there's a whole ecosystem that has to exist, the real regulation. You know, I always say, like, lab testing is the only regulation we need, but like there's other rules that need to be applied for organic
a
material.
lot of Americans would also say, can I see some ID? Make sure that they're 21 and over.
Mm-hmm.
They would say, so lab testing, great, because then you want the plant tested for like pesticides and bad stuff that could be in it. And then you want people to be carded. But, you know, like the food, the way that we make food, like it's very similar. And so, like, the same regulations that they're going to follow at the interstate level should apply. And so if you do that, you know, the cannabis becomes more difficult to put into that food supply. Especially when it's a Schedule 3 drug. When it's a Schedule 3 drug, you can't put it into the food supply. So, like, if CBD is suddenly rescheduled, you can't put it into the food supply. But then if CBD is not rescheduled, you can. And so, like, we need comprehensive cannabis reform. But all the stuff that we've seen is nothing burgers. It's clearly written by the hemp industry or not at all. And so I could see the industry not really wanting interstate competition because they've created their moats.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's a big part of bitch about fucking rescheduling, because as soon as you get any sort of federal parity, then someone's going to take that risk for the interstate commerce and push that clause, push that, you know,
lawsuit.
Each thing needs to be challenged in a different way.
Yeah, the Dormant Commerce Clause just sitting there.
Yeah,
you know, but I can see it being a lot like cigarettes and alcohol, like, you know, limited. You have limited, like Yingling beer, for example, is still not in Wisconsin, and it took forever before it was in Illinois. Do you guys have Yingling beer?
No, what is it?
You see, if it's
there's a lot of beer out there, though, man. It's a lot of beer out there, though.
That's good, but it's a huge brewery. It's a huge brewery out of Pennsylvania.
Okay,
and so the distribution rights, like, I can't go to my store and buy, like, the Big R beer that you guys have over there in Washington State, Rainier.
Really?
I mean, no, we don't get that. Like, we couldn't get Coors until like the 90s. And so, like, if it's like the alcohol industry, you're still going to have these protections. And so, like, you don't have a distribution contract, you can't get in the state. So you need licenses to get in, and you need to make sure that taxes have been paid. And so we have the system for how to regulate cannabis. Like, we've had it for the past 90 years with alcohol. But for some reason,
well, the rules slowly shape, right? Just like how we have now, our next story, UW is researchers tackle workplace cannabis health hazards, right? As we've talked about in the past, where people have died from their, like, an asthma attack from being in the like in the grain spaces, right, with the powder, the fine molecule. So, you know, they're going over that in different studies. You know, the guest that we had on the show, Farmer Tom, he was part of the first, like, OSHA studies, right? These are the rules, I think. You know, every aspect of this plant, the industry, you know, is just a different aspect of the rules, the regulation, right? Where's the rule where eventually you just get where smell is not crime, you know?
Oh, goodness. I mean, like, I don't think we're ever going to get there, and here's why. Do you like it when you walking down the street and you smell somebody who's been smoking a cigarette? I think I'm not particularly fond of it. And I think other people are not particularly fond of it either. And so it's the same thing now when you're walking down the street and you smell weed. I enjoy that, but I like weed. But then if, like, most people aren't me, like 20% are into weed and 80% aren't. right? And so they really don't want to smell it like that. And so that's one of the reasons why I think alcohol was so much easier, because you really can't smell the alcohol unless you get right up in their face, right? And that's why. But I think that's one of the reasons why the beverages and the edibles and even the vapes have helped it a little bit, because they're more inconspicuous. But
no, that's 100%.
it's silly, and I just but cigarettes are legal,
You know what's funny, dude? Because lately I've stopped using my grinder. I take the bud and I'll just been breaking it up and get the stems out. I've had a couple of like seed instances with my grinder because he's just in there just tearing it up. And as an asthmatic, I think that's part of the for the normies to understand, because you're lighting this thing on fire, you're inhaling it on purpose, and it gives you a feeling. It treats your body a certain way. But it's not cancerous, right? There's other stories out there about how like the heat and that still need to get proven. People will say it like it's truth that it gives you cancer, but that's not proven. Cigarettes is proven, but not with cannabis. So yeah, man. Just think it's silly. Oh, back to when you were saying about smoking though. Last week, dude, I was in the city. Last week was the Hawks 49ers game. And there were some out-of-towners in front of me, some 49ers fans. There was a lot of them in town.
True.
And this woman in front of me, I was like, that smells so good. That smells so good. And she was smoking a joint when I realized right in front of me, right? She was smoking one of these infused ones. And I was just contemplating how these people came from Cali and like just casually went to another pot store, bought something and smoked it for their on vacation while walking the path. Like she literally saw her put it to the side, like she didn't finish it all. And she put it back in her thing because she was going to go somewhere else or restaurant, whatever. But like, it was just kind of neat to see. Like for us here, that's just an experience that most people don't get to experience. They're worried about the cops or whatever.
Well, I mean, we kind of are. Like ours is a little bit. Is public consumption illegal in Washington State? Because public consumption is illegal in Illinois.
It's a $20 fine in Seattle. That's it.
Oh, good. So
each city does different.
Yeah, it's similar, and so it's a slap on the wrist. But then possession limits. We need to raise our possession limits. It's 30 grams. Like, how much is it in Washington State? Is it?
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. But law enforcement doesn't fuck with you for anything cannabis related. But we have to extend our purchase limits because ours is only an ounce. Oregon's the only place that has increased it. They doubled their fucking limits like 3 years ago.
Yeah, we should make it 2.5 ounces. But this industry is full of silly policies, and it's because like the people that are writing it are in that 80%. They aren't in the 20%. And 20% is not right in the industry. And then the people that are writing the laws, they're the ones that are getting paid. And people that are making money on hemp, and the people that are making money on cannabis. And so that's why they want Schedule 3, to make some money. Duh. And also not get arrested as badly. But they might not want full-blown interstate commerce either. And then the hemp industry, that's not going to be THC anymore. That's behind us. The days of hemp getting you high, the more yesterdays than tomorrows, let's say.
Yeah, that's 100%. I feel that. Yeah, man, that was a good show. And
good show.
Hawks are on today. Can't wait.
Hey, let's just talk about more important things, because there will be a definitive binary outcome with this game. And I got the other one up there. It looks like, the Pats just pulled ahead of Denver. And so what happened today, we have the Final Four on football for the NFL. Every team is in a legal state.
Right.
Because if you're playing football, you're damn right you're going to want to join after it. You got pain and you don't want to take opioids.
Seriously, though.
Seriously.
Should be
Denver, Boston, not San Francisco, LA, SoCal. Oh, shout out to SoCal. We're going to try to have Elliot from Catalyst on the podcast next week. Cool. Yeah, we'll have Elliot on, and then the Canachem person as well. And then if you guys want to get on the podcast, tell your publicist to email me. I might email her back. It's ridiculous. I can't believe how many people. The Cato Institution, they kept emailing. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, come on, get a think tank on here. Come on. I'd love to have that person on there. It'd be hilarious,
I think it would be great to talk to Elliot, though. Oh, hey, by the way, clean your bongs. There's a post on Reddit where someone got
Clean your
Legionnaires'
bongs.
disease. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me. Don't use a bong.
Shit. Whatever it is, click whatever you're smoking. That's nasty.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to thank everybody who tuned in. It was great. And we're either going to be like really, really stoked maybe next week or not. And so we'll see. Like, Miggy wants them to win. We are waiting through the last week of January, and that social equity loan we applied for on September 25th, which is, if you're counting, 4 months ago to the day. And they announced it, and they started taking applications like 2 months before that. So like in July. So like we applied for the loan and we're totally submitted by the 1st of September. It closed 3 weeks thereafter. I don't know, 66 other 63 dispensaries, I think, applied. And that would, if everybody gets the money, they'd still have 20 or $18 million left to give out.
Jesus.
And so we'll see. But it's $40 million. And they're looking for social equity that has not gotten the money before. It's us. And then are close to opening, also us. And if we get that cash, pick us. Yeah. Because if we get that cash, we will be so grateful, and we'll be able to get open real quick too, which will be great. Because then we'll be doing the podcast, or I will at least, from the dispensary, which is going to be fun.
Well, life will be changing. It'll be interesting. I can't wait.
Well, who do you think's going to win with Seattle or LA? I think Seattle's got a shot. They're at home, and they're good. They got the bye.
It's a cold ass fucking day. I'm gonna go buy a 6-pack and call it night.
You do that. Go Hawks. We will see you next week. Oh, I had a video that I recorded yesterday, and I did the whole thing, and I was going to start having the AI edit it. I was blurry the whole goddamn time, blurry. So I have to reshoot it, and then that'll be coming out next week. Some other stuff, but have a good week, everybody. Hope your team wins the football.
Yeah.
The federal shift towards Schedule 3 doesn't rewrite your license strategy. Having the right dispensary footprint and operational playbook in place before regulators fully implement that new policy. That's where Collateral Base comes in. We help cannabis businesses win dispensary licenses, structure compliant operations, and manage stores. Link below. We help clients navigate licensing, compliance, and operations so they win in the new regulatory era.